In this video, we're going to take a look at some custom power cables for the Ghost S1. I was approached by Endgame Customs to try out their cables and deliver my opinion on their product. I previously attempted to make custom cables of my own for this case and found the 24-pin to be particularly difficult, especially for such a small space. So I genuinely jumped on the opportunity to try them out and share my thoughts with everyone. If you're new to this channel, I previously put out a guide on how to manage the stock cables in this case using the Corsair SF series of power supplies. If you haven't checked out that video before, it's worth taking a look and I'll link to it in the description below. Also, please consider subscribing if you happen to like this video and want to see more content going forward. I also regularly stream on Twitch where I have already met a few viewers and hope to chat with some more of you in the future. Check the links in the description below for more details. First and foremost, I want to share a few talking points from the folks over at Endgame Customs regarding their cables. The samples they sent me are specifically tailored to the Ghost S1, but in the coming months they will have options for the Formed T1, Sliger SM580, N-Case M1, and the Dan-Case A4. I managed to pre-order the Formed T1 in the batch that ships in December, so I'm personally going to keep my eye out for their cables at the end of the year. Endgame sources all of their materials from MDPCX, which includes their really nice quality 15 gauge wire, terminals, plugs, cable combs, and sleeves. If there is a custom cable color you are looking for but is not listed on Endgame's site, my understanding is that they should be able to accommodate most color options that are available on the MDPCX site at no extra cost. For this particular review sample, I wanted a single color blacked out build. At the time of filming, Endgame Customs is currently only making single color cable sets, but they have noted that in the future they are open to adding accent colors to their custom cable options as well. The 24-pin cable is probably super difficult to make, so if this option does become available in the future, I would expect accent colors to be available for things like the CPU and PCI cables, but probably not the 24. As far as pricing is concerned, they seem comparable to other options like P-Slate. The 24-pin cable is $60 US. The 8-pin CPU cable should run you about $30. An 8-pin PCI Express cable would be $35 US. And the 6-pin PCI Express cable should be in the realm of $25 US. I'm not sure of the specifics, but I'm also under the impression that if you purchase cables from Endgame, that a SATA power cable is included for free. Lastly, these cables were crafted by hand in Stockholm. Then they were shipped overseas here to the States, which involved going through customs. And in the time it took for me to get the review sample, the folks over at Endgames actually revised the way that they make some of these cables and offered to send another set, but I kindly declined because the ones they sent seemed to be more than sufficient to be able to provide my thoughts. If you were to order from them, they would likely be better than what I'm showing you. Right away, these cables feel great. The lengths are spot on for this motherboard, the bends are uniform, the individual cables are snug inside the female ends, there are plenty of well-spaced cable combs, and the craftsmanship is honestly excellent. As far as functionality is concerned, these cables are purpose-built for the Corsair SF series of power supplies, which are likely the most popular SFX power supplies available. I was initially thrown off because it looks like a few wires were missing from the 24-pin, but a quick peek on the internet revealed that there are 4 sense wires that do not carry any voltage and are extremely difficult to sleeve, especially in SFF builds. I did see online that the 4 sense wires are required for platinum-rated power supplies, but I'm hoping that someone can weigh in with a little bit more experience down in the comments below. I can confidently say that they work just fine since I made this video with these cables in my system and I've been using them for a couple of weeks at this point with zero difference in stability or operation. Installing them was a little tough since they are extremely short, so in my case, I removed the power supply, plugged in the cables, then mounted the PSU to the case after everything was tidy. Endgame Customs may have installation instructions that would help with this, but I just kind of went for it. On a note unrelated to the cables, since Endgame Customs was kind enough to send me these cables to share with you all, I felt obligated to make some cosmetic changes to my build, which included swapping out the brown Noctua fans for the Chromax variants, as well as removing and grinding down the VRM heatsink to accommodate an L12S with a black 120mm fan. It was a massive pain, definitely voids any motherboard warranty I may have had, and the side panel had a hard time sliding on. But I'm really pleased with the noise performance and aesthetic of this particular build. When all is said and done, would I recommend custom cables from Endgame Customs? Seeing that these cables are purpose-built for the high-end enthusiast computer cases with very precise and exact fitment in small spaces, I think these are a great option for those who want to elevate their PC builds with that clean finishing touch. They look much better than the stock cables, even when managed properly. These cables aren't cheap, but having tried making custom cables on my own, the amount of time, materials, and pain from literally burning your fingertips and crimping dozens of terminals is pretty quickly offset when you order from someone who has worked on this craft over time. I think that the price of these cables is more than fair for the time and effort involved in making them, and would recommend them to anyone who is happy with their PC components and wants to turn their computer into something worth sharing with the small form factor community. Thanks again to Endgame Customs for a chance to check out these cables. Their information will be linked below. If you've made it this far, do me a favor and leave a comment below about what types of PC builds or upgrades you've done in 2020. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.